There we go. There we go. And we're posted. So, a little bit later, this earlier setting off today. However, I think they're feeding the cows, so that might make negotiating down here a little bit more interesting. Craig, good morning to you. Sarah Davis, good morning to you. Like I say, good morning. Everyone joining us. Sorry about the wind. Mike, good morning to you as well. Like I say, click the like button, click the share button, let everyone know we're live. Yep. Oh, it's going to be cow central. Going to be cow central walking through here. Good morning. Ooh. And there's a little, don't know if people can see him, little calf right behind my head. There he is. Little calf. Like I say, we are getting to foaling season, so we should probably see a couple more baby foals in the not too distant future, because I can see a couple of ponies with very big bellies over there in the field, so they all look as if they're about to pop. That's for certain. But good morning everyone. Welcome to the Good Morning Walk. Oh, yeah, feeding time. Or breakfast time, shall we say, more accurately. Oh. Okay, let's go away. Oh. As you can see. Morning. Oh, and there's a new one, I believe. There's a new one. Oh, yes, but good morning. And the horse standing right in my way. Actually, no, he's not in my way. I can go around him. There's a gate. Do forget there's a gate there now. Boop. There we go. Oh, but yes. So what a week. I mean, hey, I'd been telling you all this was going to happen, that he was going to, the tariffs were coming April 2nd, and man of his word, those tariffs came on April 2nd. And oh boy. tells you everything that Trump did that Liberation Day announcement like 5 minutes after the markets closed. Because he didn't want like, the markets reacting to his speech, but oh boy did they react. The media's whipped up everyone into a frenzy. Well, hey, what was it? Someone did report on like job losses, like somewhere, I can't remember what the number is, but someone has reported on the job losses in America because of these Trump tariffs, especially because of the auto tariff that he put on. I mean, that 25%, especially to the UK, I think puts like 25,000 jobs at risk here in the UK. But I know instantly it's like a lot of Americans lost their jobs because of those tariffs. And it's just like, well, you know, they did warn you. And like I say, they've kicked in properly today. So over the next, I would say, couple of days, Americans are going to start really feeling, and I mean really feeling, the effects of those tariffs. Yeah, 10% for the UK. Exactly. And we are, I can't stress, Patrick, I can't stress how much of a bullet we dodged. Because Trump was only focusing on goods, and we don't have that too much of a surplus when it comes to goods. Our big surplus with America is in services. Remember, 80% of our economy is based in services. And if Trump had decided to tariff services, oh, we would have been screwed. Like, oh boy, would the UK have been screwed if he had tariffed services. You think Vietnam was treated unfairly with what, 40 odd percent tariff, I think it was. Jane, good morning to you. Like I say, good morning everyone else joining us. Like I say, click the like, click the share button. But yeah, if we had been tariffed with services included in that, you know, factored into that trade deficit, we could have potentially had like a high 50, 60% tariff if you factor in that formula. You know, we've got a big deficit when it comes to sort of the service trade with America. So we got off potentially so lucky that Trump just focused on goods, not services. However, we must now prepare for what could be happening next week. Because, oh boy, Trump and his allies and Trump himself have sort of hinted that this coming week he's now going to put sectoral tariffs out. So you've got now this baseline of 10%. You've got this baseline tariff of 10%. And then you've got things like cars that are like 25. Everyone is trying to work out why, for example, Norway got hit with a 15 instead of a 10% tariff. But that was because of its energy. So that's why they got probably hit with a 15% tariff rather than just standard 10 in that. Yeah, Ireland, you've managed to avoid stuff, but be careful because this is where it comes in. Ireland could be about to get hit monumentally this week because it all comes down to these sectoral tariffs. Because in his speech, Trump talked about beef exports from like Australia. So we are expecting this week a specific tariff potentially on beef. So that could send beef prices sky high. But more importantly for Ireland is your pharmaceutical industry. Because Trump explicitly labelled out and has talked about pharmaceuticals, especially in that speech. And oh boy, if he puts a tariff on medicines being, imported into America, Ireland is going to take a massive hit. That's one of your big exports to America. That is one of your big exports to America. The Witchy Goth, good morning to you, just dropping in. Well, good morning to you. Like I say, good morning everyone else just dropping in. Feel free to drop in, drop out, but hit the like, hit the share button. And of course, hit the subscribe button if you'd like as well. Charles, good morning to you. Can we give Trumpton, can we give Trump Clacton as the 51st state? Hope so. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, but that is something that keeps on happening, keeps on rolling on throughout all of this. What is going to happen? And like I say, this week, watch out, we've got those sectoral tariffs coming. And we don't know what's going to happen. Just like we didn't know what was going to happen with these April 2nd tariffs. So, if you're in Ireland, if Trump decides to put that pharmaceutical, that medicine tariff, which I think many people are expecting that he might do, because he talked about it quite a lot, of course, during the Liberation Day speech, then the Irish pharmaceutical companies, or the manufacturing, shall we say, of those companies that are based in Ireland are really going to feel the pinch. And like I say, the tariffs come in from today to affect properly. So really, Americans are going to start feeling it. They are going to start feeling the pain. And especially kind of funny when Trump constantly promised he was going to lower prices for Americans. And these types of tariffs, not going to lower prices. Not going to lower prices. Oh. It is going to be very, very interesting. What's that? Darren Grimes standing for... God, doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. I mean, already, shall we say, the Reform candidates' vetting, or shall we say, lack of vetting, is shall we say, coming out on them. I think one was caught recently, apparently, for posts. I think it was about Jimmy Savile. So yeah, we should start some sort of timer, like how many Reform candidates get given the boot even before like the election starts. Oh, it'll be an interesting May the 1st, I should say May the 2nd, when we have a look at those sort of results. Because this is sort of Reform's first time it's, shall we say, being put to some sort of proper electoral test. But so far, given all those by-elections that we've had, like I say, 200 plus, not really working out for them. So, what's this? Why am I being blamed for something? Just, oh dear. What am I being blamed for now? Penguins are woke. Well, this is another thing. One of the places he's tariffed. Good morning. One of the places he's tariffed, like the only like signs of inhabitants, not just the penguins, but there just happens to be a US military base, and like that's it. That's the only thing. Quote, we were warned about Labour. I keep on telling you guys, Labour has done some good stuff. Not done all good stuff. And I've talked about it. You guys just ignore the fact when I talk out against them. Again, just for convenience, because for some reason you like to blame me as if I have some sort of messianic powers to control the voting populace. But hey, whatever soothes your egos. Whatever soothes your egos, my friend. Yeah, the worst of Labour is like the 10 times better than the Tories. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, this week we're going to get sectoral tariffs. We are going to get sectoral tariffs in some way, shape or form. And when they do, it's just, what is he going to target? So in his speech, he talked a lot about beef, and he talks a lot about pharmaceuticals. So expect this week some sort of new announcement targeting those, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen inevitably when it comes to it. But it's just how much, what percentage does he put on them? And then, of course, there it goes. And then, of course, we've got the response. I think China's been the first to respond. They've put tariffs up on US goods by about, I think, 30-odd%, maybe about 35, something around about there. So far, the EU hasn't properly responded, but they're saying, look, we're preparing to respond, because I think everyone was, well, we don't know what these tariffs are going to be. The UK is pretty much in the same position as well. Like, we don't know how we're going to respond, what we're going to respond to. But I do generally think there is this hope, this like tiny hope of hope, that somehow countries think that Trump will fold, that he'll undo, some of this stuff. Whether he will or not, well, that remains to be seen. Like I say, last time Trump did tariffs like this in his first term, he started handing out exemptions left, right and centre, and it sort of pretty much nullified any of these tariffs. So we'll see if he does start handing out exemptions. But it's also going to be interesting to see what some of these countries are taking the US to court, especially to the WTO. But of course, if you remember, Trump gummed up the WTO last time by not appointing any judges. So that slowed down a lot of stuff. So if there are going to be any cases against these tariffs, they're not going to be any time soon, at least. They're not going to be any time soon, shall we say that? Oop. let's go here so you can read some of the stuff. Yeah, we can attack reform for being unpatriotic for supporting Trump ahead of the UK. Yeah, that is true. You've seen a lot of attacks on that already, Charles. That is very true. I mean, the other thing we should talk about is the Wisconsin special election that took place for the Supreme Court, because that might have a lot of repercussions on Trump. So, for those of you who don't know, there was a election for the Supreme Court position in Wisconsin, and Elon Musk went. There they go. And Elon Musk put like so much money into this election. I don't know exactly like what it is, but this was like no one's ever put this amount of money into into this type of election before. And Musk not only going out there campaigning, putting out all this money, he lost. And he lost spectacularly. He lost enormously in this. I think he lost by over like, I think it was like, was it 10 or even 15 points? It might have been even higher than that. But he lost by like a huge margin. His candidate that he was backing lost by a huge margin. And one of the important things that really happened over this was turnout. Turnout in this election was so big, they ran out of ballots. Like, they actually ran out of ballots. They had to go and print more because people were turning up. It always comes down to that exact same thing, turnout. Turnout matters, people. Yeah, he lost bigly. Turnout is the key. Yeah, exactly. Always is. Always is for these elections. Yeah, he can't take back the $1 million checks, exactly. And that could be something else he ends up being in trouble for as well. Because we know that he's bent the rules a bit on this. Bent the rules quite a lot on that. How do you run out of ballots? Quite simply, this type of special election, previously in the past, turnout had been something like, I think it was, 30 odd %, something like that. So they had printed enough ballots to expect for that turnout, but the turnout had been boosted massively. I think the turnout was boosted quite significantly, like into like the high 60s, which normally doesn't happen. So if you're expecting a normal average turnout of something like that, and then all of a sudden all these extra people turn up and like, oh, we don't have enough ballots because there's more people than we expected, that's how you run out of ballots. But Musk lost, and Musk lost big time. And there's been a lot of questions, and I've said this before, how long are Republicans prepared to go along with, of course, Donald Trump's madness, the insanity of some of these proposals, the fact that Republicans this weekend and for the past couple of days have had to massively like tie themselves in knots when it comes to the Trump tariffs. Like they can't explain it, and like the stock market is just going down and down and down. It ain't turning around. And then, of course, you've got, well, what happens when other countries retaliate, which is inevitable. You know, China's already retaliated. Every other country's like, yeah, we're going to retaliate because even what you've done here is just so dumb on this. It's how long will these Republicans go along with it? And always remember that Musk and Trump deployed this threat that if you didn't go along with Trump's agenda, Elon would fund a primary and boot you out. Now think about that for a second. His threat was put to the test in that special election in Wisconsin, and it backfired. It backfired spectacularly. Not only just that, but elsewhere as well. You saw big swings, even where Republicans lost. Even where Republicans lost, well, shall we say, even where Republicans won, there was enough of a swing to put even some of these other Republicans in like quite dire straits, because they'd been expecting the numbers that they had seen in the election, where they were getting these big, massive swings towards them. And that was not appearing in this election. So, what ends up happening is you have this massive threat that he had deployed, which he now no longer seems to be able to back up. So a lot of, I think, Republicans now might actually start to break ranks and start to break out over this, because you've got a big budget bill coming up in April. This is where we're expected to see all these big Trump tax cuts, which are also going to do huge damage to the American economy. And it's, you know, how many Republicans suddenly go, are we okay with this? Are we really going to go along with this nonsense? It's going to be, if the Republicans start rebelling against Trump, which I hope they do, it's going to put Trump into a world of pain. Because remember, this time, as we've said, there's no adults in the room. You know, there's no adults in the room this time to, as they say, to rein Trump in this time. There's no one there to rein him in this time. This is like full chaotic madness of Trump. So we are going to see a lot of that. Might be too late to fall out of line. Well, it depends, because all you have to do at that point is just say, well, I'm not going to go along with Trump's agenda. I'm not going to go along with, this agenda anymore. What we're doing is dumb. And they start to really push back against Trump. Because now that threat of, if I talk out of line, if I rebel, or if I do anything like that, that threat was put to the test. And it failed. And we have seen in the past where the Republicans, and again, I say the sane Republicans in question mark, because even they're not, shall we say, 100%
sane. But there are Republicans who understand that doing this type of, tariff program is going to be incredibly damaging. Incredibly damaging. So they're not all going to go along with it. And it's just, I think, just a matter of when and who breaks first and what happens. And I think you're going to get a repeat of what we saw over here in the UK. That after Brexit, after they had won their big victory in 2019, they sort of won and then went, well, okay, what exactly are we going to do now, guys? Like, what are we going to do? And that's when they started infighting. That's when they started, tackling each other. And I think it's going to be the same now in the Republicans. It won't be too long before you get this, like, Republican MAGA civil war. And I think when that happens, you're going to see a lot of very, very tasty infighting. It's a matter of weight ratios. Quite possible. Quite possible on that one. Like I say, remember there is already a significant anti-Trump movement, but they haven't been able to gain any traction, and does this finally give them the traction on that? Yeah. No, like I say, the whole reason these tariffs worked out was they took, like, the trade deficit with America and then they, like, divided it. They've, like I say, there's a lot of people who worked this out, and it's so dumb. It's so dumb how they've worked out this out. There's a lot of people speculating, apparently, they got this from Grok, apparently, which is, that'll be interesting. Taylor Greene and co. possibly to lose their seats in the midterms. Well, maybe a lot of Republicans are now saying that Trump doing this could lose them the midterms. That, those elections they've had recently, even the ones where they've won in, they've had very big swings away from them. So the midterms really could hurt Trump and just make him an absolute lame duck. And then the Democrats are going to have a lot more power to push back against some of the stuff that Trump has done, which is the only way you can really stop Trump and some of this madness that he's, partaking in. Because what you need is you need to veto, because the Senate, I believe, does have veto power. Is it the Senate or the Congress? I can't remember which one. But one of them has veto power over the president. And it would not take a lot of Republicans to split and give them veto power to say, hey, you're doing this under national security laws. We don't think so. Bye-bye. It's not that they'll get rid of Trump, but they'll probably get rid of these tariffs. So, but you need like a 61% margin to do it. And of course, currently at the moment, the Republicans are in control. And it's a question mark, of course, how many Republicans are willing to socially vote with the Democrats to maybe veto something like this. But it's always that. This just keeps repeating. Oh no. It's not live. Well, I am actually alive. It's always weird how you get some of these trolls and that do stuff like this. It's weird. But, oh well. I can just take a look at the scenery. Beautiful. Shame it's not yesterday, because there was literally blue skies. Absolute blue skies. From here to here. But hopefully it's a bit better today. We'll see. To all the trolls, you can't handle the truth. That's been the insane thing as well. You've seen Brexiteers over on our side try to sell like really try to sell the idea that, oh yeah, we only got tariffed like 10%, so that's somehow a Brexit win. Oh, you know, thank you very much for only punching us once. You know, we could have been punched twice, but we only got punched once. Brexit win. Meanwhile, of course, Daniel Hannan absolutely crashing out. Like, absolutely crashing out on this. Quote, why are the Trump tariffs bad but the EU tariffs good? So the tariffs that exist around the world are at an all-time low. They are not this high. The idea that the EU gave like I think what was Trump's claim, like a 50%, 40% tariff, something like that, was not it. These were not based on any, like, you know, sensible, quote, reciprocal tariffs in that front. But, you know, countries do tariffs all the time, but they're not this high. They're not like 10% high. They're like 2 or 3% high, and they're not like a blanket, you know, all on this. It's mostly to protect like industries, or to encourage industries, or to have a look at how they can sort of build areas and build up stuff, you know, sort of the kind of stuff Joe Biden did and then Trump's now destroyed and not doing. But there you go. What do you think of the Liverpool-Manchester rail line proposals? Again, I'm all for, you know, building infrastructure like that. So yeah, build them. Build them, build them, build them. But we need a lot of rail infrastructure, quite frankly, in this country. We need a lot of rail infrastructure building. Because it is very, very bad indeed. As he says, as the train goes past. What happened to the moderates with the blue spanner system? I don't know. I don't know what the blue spanner system is. Well, the president is technically, of course, the commander-in-chief, and that harkens all the way back to the revolution. But again, they are meant to uphold the Constitution first and foremost. So, yeah, needless to say, the next time we have a full-on election in the next couple of years, that might be scarily put to the test. We've only got to hope that what happens in South Korea happens this time to Trump. Of course, South Korean president tried to coup the South Korean government and got impeached unanimously just this week as well. So, talk about, faith in democracy restored over there. Real faith in democracy restored. The other thing I want to talk about as well is the fact that you've now had as well Palestinians protesting against Hamas, which, hey, good on them for doing that. Good on them for doing that. I've always said the biggest problems to peace in the Middle East are the right-wing Israeli government and, of course, Hamas. So it's good to see the Palestinians wanting to get rid of Hamas. But again, Hamas, quite a big problem on that one. Hasn't China ditched Russia? That's what I keep on hearing as well, Shane. That's what I keep on hearing as well. This is something I need to look more into, because it does, if that is generally true, then that could be quite significant indeed on that. It just depends on what they mean by ditching on that front. Alma, good morning to you. But yeah, it all depends on what they mean by ditching, because obviously they're meant to have this special relationship, this no hold bars relationship, but it seems that Xi might be not so willing to go along with it, at least anymore. Ziponi. So yeah, it is going to be interesting this week again, because we suspect that there are going to be sectoral tariffs. We just don't know what exactly. I think beef is going to be one of them, if you want to put bets on it. And I think you're also going to see medicines as well. But hey, he could put more stuff on. And if he tariffs services, oh boy. The UK could be in a very, very bad position, because, like I say, we are a service-based economy. That's why we sort of got away with only like 10%, because our big, shall we say, trade deficit with the US isn't in goods, it's in services. And if he slaps a tariff, or decides to target specifically services coming in to the UK, provided by other to America, shall we say, provided by other countries, the UK is going to be in a world of trouble. So you could see a lot of job losses in like banking, insurance, marketing in my world, a lot of stuff, IT as well. So it's it is time to align with the EU. Well, guess what? There was a big Brexit bill, which almost no one talked about this week. And that was, as we've talked about it before in the past, the meteorological and metal bill. I know, fantastic name for such an important bill, really. Because in that bill, it basically says that if businesses want to, shall we say, follow EU rules and EU regulations, the government will do so. They will keep on following those rules and regulations. So that bill gives us a significant alignment to European standards and regulations. So that'll be interesting. That'll be very interesting when that comes in. Yeah, dollar is cheaper. Tricolonialization again. Yeah, that's not going to happen, I think. That's not. Well, Trump is, because Trump seems to think he's McKinley. One of the big reasons you've seen floating around is apparently Trump read this book on McKinley. That's why he loves tariffs. That's why he's espousing, like, you know, taking territory in Greenland, Panama, you know, in Canada. But we'll see. Will Trump continue with these tariffs? I don't know. But I don't think so. Because I suspect this weekend he's going to be having a lot of, shall we say, phone calls and conversations with people saying, why on earth are you doing this? What are you doing with this? This is insanity. Yeah. Well, the other thing would be interesting would be what's going to happen with Argentina, because the dollar getting cheaper hurts Argentina's, or at least Milei's, plan to dollarize the economy so much. It is going to be very interesting to see. Very interesting to see what happens on that front. That is for sure. So, yeah, Smoot Harvey works so well. Yeah, that's another thing that a lot of people have been talking about as well. Those tariffs that basically made the Great Depression like 10 times worse. So we'll see. Like I say, as we said last time, you know, get ready for these April 2nd tariffs. Get ready for this week, because Trump could announce sectoral tariffs. If you're an island and he announces a tariff on medicines, Ireland could be in for a very significant problem then. Very significant problem. So Ireland's response may be to put up corporation tax, which is why you see a lot of big tech companies over in Dublin, or at least have their headquarters over in Dublin. So that might be their response if that happens. Trump, in his speech, I got the impression he had banned beef imports from Australia. Or at least seemed to be what he was giving the impression, that he had banned beef imports from Australia. That might happen this week, which will be, that'll be wild if he does that. So yeah, a lot of stuff potentially happening again this week. A lot of stuff happening again this week. Could be interesting. Yeah, where is the Irish lobby when Ireland needs them? Oh, that will probably go into effect. That will probably go into effect if that happens. I can guarantee you that. Like I say, now that Elon lost in Wisconsin, that threat of a, you know, Trump, I will primary you and I will fund it to the hilt. Well, Elon Musk funded that primary to the hilt and he lost in quite a big way. In quite a big way. That threat is potentially no longer there. Thank you very much, Yvonne. The US will be now the main losers. Yep. And like I say, you can join the Pony Club down below, or you can drop a super chat, etc., or, you know, sub to the channel. We talk about politics and stuff that goes on. So, as always, like I say, we are at the end of our Good Morning Walk today. But thank you very much for joining us today. Go out and enjoy your weekend. Like I say, the sun and weather this weekend is absolutely
fantastic this weekend. So go out, enjoy yourselves. As always, if you can't be safe, be sensible. Hit the like and share button on your way out. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.